The quiet used to be comforting. It used to wrap around Sarah and me like a warm blanket, a testament to our unspoken understanding, our deep connection. Now the silence feels heavy, suffocating, a constant reminder of the secret I carry. Every shared meal, every casual touch, every night we lie next to each other in bed, the silence screams. It screams what I have done, what I continue to hide. Our story began beautifully, like most stories, I suppose. There was laughter, that breathless excitement of discovery, the feeling that I had finally found my person, the one who saw into the depths of my soul and accepted every jagged edge. Sarah was light, vibrant, full of an infectious optimism that always pulled me out of my own occasional gloom. We built a life, brick by brick, dream by dream. A small apartment that became a home, shared holidays with families. The mundane routines transformed into precious rituals. I loved her, truly. I believed I would always love her, in that pure, uncomplicated way. But somewhere along the road, the colors started to fade. Imperceptibly at first, like a photograph, left too long in the sun. The laughter became less frequent, replaced by comfortable habits. The breathless excitement morphed into a quiet contentment that, in my less generous moments, felt a lot like boredom. We stopped really seeing each other, I think. We saw the roles we played, partner, provider, companion. But the individual, the vibrant, flawed, yearning individual within, seemed to get lost in the shuffle of everyday life. Or perhaps I stopped trying to see her, and she, in turn, stopped trying to see me. The shift was gradual, insidious. Arguments became less about resolution and more about weary sighs. Intimacy became a duty, or a rare treat, rather than a spontaneous expression of desire. I remember one evening lying beside her, the moonlight painting silver stripes across our room. I felt an emptiness within me, a vast, aching space that her presence, once so filling, could no longer touch. I craved something undefined, something thrilling, something that would make me feel alive again, important, desired in a way I had not felt in years. Then Alex entered the picture, completely unexpectedly. A new colleague, bright, vivacious, with an energy that felt like a splash of cold water on my increasingly lethargic existence. We started with polite work conversations, then lunch breaks extended, evolving into after-work drinks that stretched late into the evening. Alex listened differently, not with the practiced patience of a long-term partner, but with an intense, curious focus that made me feel utterly captivating. Alex laughed at my jokes, truly laughed, not just the polite chuckle Sarah might offer. Alex asked about my dreams, my frustrations, my past, not in a way that felt like a quiz, but with genuine interest, as if discovering an uncharted territory. I told myself it was harmless, just friendship, just a little spark to lighten the monotonous grind. I told myself I deserved a little intellectual stimulation, a little external validation. Sarah was busy, I reasoned. She had her own life, her own interests, her own friends. We were independent, were not we? This was just me being independent. But deep down, a tremor of guilt started to vibrate. A small, persistent hum beneath the surface of my consciousness. The line blurred, then dissolved entirely. It started subtly, an accidental brush of hands, a lingering gaze. The tension between us, Alex and I, grew palpable, an electric current that hummed whenever we were in the same room. It was a dangerous, exhilarating feeling. A feeling I had almost forgotten existed. It was the feeling of being wanted, not out of habit or history, but out of raw, immediate desire. The first time it happened, it was not planned. It was a rainy Tuesday night. We'd stayed late at the office, finishing a project. The building was empty, the city lights blurred through the rain-streaked windows. We celebrated with a bottle of wine, just the two of us. The conversation flowed easily, intimately. We talked about everything and nothing. The wine warmed me, loosened my inhibitions. Alex looked at me, truly looked at me, and in that gaze I saw understanding, desire, and a reflection of my own yearning. A touch, a kiss, a breathless, desperate exchange that felt both forbidden and utterly inevitable. In that moment, the world outside, Sarah, our life, everything, receded into a hazy background. There was only the heat, the urgency, the thrilling transgression. It was wrong, I knew it was wrong, but it felt so right, so intensely, powerfully right, in a way that my relationship with Sarah had not felt in years. It was a desperate attempt to fill that aching void within me, to prove to myself I was still capable of passion, of desire, of being desired. The immediate aftermath was a messy cocktail of emotions, a rush of adrenaline, a profound sense of shame, a fleeting euphoria, and a crushing wave of guilt. I walked home in the pouring rain, the chill doing little to sober me from the intoxication of what had just transpired. When I saw Sarah sleeping peacefully, her hair fanned out on the pillow, an overwhelming wave of self-loathing washed over me. She looked so innocent, so trusting, and I had just shattered that trust, even if she did not yet know it. The secret became a living entity, coiling itself around my heart, tightening with every lie, every evasive answer, every forced smile. Every time Sarah asked about my day, I felt a stab of fear. Every time she reached for my hand, I flinched internally. The intimacy we once shared became a performance, a careful dance of deception. I started noticing things I had never noticed before. The way her brow furrowed when she was worried, the small scar above her left eye, the gentle rise and fall of her chest as she slept. These details, once familiar and cherished, now felt like accusations. They were reminders of the person I was betraying, the person I was hurting. The affair with Alex continued, sporadic, intense, hidden. It was a parallel existence, a secret garden I tended with a mixture of fear and perverse pleasure. Each encounter was charged with the thrill of the forbidden, the risk of discovery. It made me feel alive, yes, but it also slowly, surely hollowed me out. The person I was becoming was unrecognizable to myself. I was living a lie, and the weight of that lie was immense. It stole my peace, my sleep, my authentic self. I became more irritable with Sarah, snapping at small things, retreating into myself. I needed distance from her, from the painful reminder of my deceit. She noticed, of course. Her questions became more pointed, her gaze more probing. Is everything all right? You seem distant. Are you unhappy? Each question was a hammer blow, threatening to shatter the fragile edifice of my deception. I would offer vague excuses, work stress, tiredness, anything to deflect, to maintain the facade. The truth was I was deeply unhappy. Unhappy with myself, with the choices I was making, with the double life I was leading. The initial thrill of the affair had given way to a constant, gnawing anxiety. I was caught between two worlds, unable to fully inhabit either. I loved Sarah, or a version of her, a version of our life. But I was drawn to Alex, to the intensity, the validation, the escape Alex offered. It was a selfish, destructive vortex. One evening, after another clandestine meeting with Alex, I came home to find Sarah sitting on the couch, not watching television, just sitting in the dark. The faint glow from the street lamp outside cast long shadows across her face. Her eyes were red-rimmed. "I know," she said, her voice barely a whisper, yet it cut through me like a physical blow. My world stopped. The air left my lungs. The carefully constructed walls crumbled in an instant. All the elaborate lies, the evasions, the careful planning had been for nothing. She knew. How? It did not matter. The knowing was what mattered. The betrayal was laid bare. I tried to deny it, weakly, instinctively. Know what? The words tasted like ash. She looked at me then, her gaze full of a pain so profound it made my stomach clench. "Do not lie to me again," she said, her voice gaining a surprising strength. "Just tell me the truth. All of it." And so I did. The confession spilled out, a torrent of shame, regret, and a desperate plea for understanding. I laid bare my emptiness, my justifications, the illicit thrill, the crushing guilt. I watched as her face crumpled, as tears streamed down her cheeks, silent and relentless. Her pain was a mirror, reflecting the monster I had become. It was far worse than any anger, any screaming. It was the absolute devastation of trust, the shattering of a shared reality. The days and weeks that followed were a blur of raw emotion. Arguments, tearful apologies, accusations, silence. Our home, once a sanctuary, became a battleground, then a mausoleum. We talked, or rather I talked, confessing, explaining, begging for forgiveness. She listened, sometimes with a stone-cold gaze, sometimes with tears, sometimes just with a vacant stare that spoke of a wound too deep to articulate. I saw the damage I had inflicted. It was not just a broken heart, it was a fractured world. Her perception of me, of us, of love itself had been irrevocably altered. The person she thought she knew, the future she envisioned, all gone, replaced by a painful, ugly truth. The decision was hers, ultimately. Could she forgive me? Could she rebuild? Could she ever trust me again? I wanted to believe she could. I wanted to earn back that trust, brick by agonizing brick. I wanted to fix what I had so carelessly broken. But the truth was, even if she could, I was not sure I could ever fully forgive myself. The lessons were brutal, etched onto my soul. Infidelity is not just an act. It is a dismantling. It dismantles trust, respect, shared history, and the very foundation of a relationship. It is a selfish pursuit of fleeting pleasure that leaves a trail of devastation in its wake. It is a desperate attempt to fill an internal void with external gratification, a method doomed to fail, leaving an even deeper emptiness behind. I learned that true connection requires presence, effort, and vulnerability, not escape. I learned that dissatisfaction in a relationship demands communication, not clandestine betrayal. I learned that the thrill of the forbidden is a temporary high, paid for with the permanent currency of integrity. Our story, Sarah and mine, did not have a simple happy ending. It is still being written, scarred, and fragmented. The road to recovery, if there is one, is long and arduous, paved with doubt and pain. And I, the one who broke it all, am left with the echoes of my choices, the weight of my secret now revealed, and the profound, enduring understanding that some wounds, once inflicted, may never truly heal. I carry this knowledge, a heavy burden, a constant reminder of the cost of my betrayal, and the fragile, precious nature of the trust I so recklessly cast aside. The silence now is not just heavy, it is deafening, filled with the ghosts of what once was
and what can never be again.